Welcome in to WSBU Interviews. I'm Ryan Adio, the sports director here in the Buzz. Joining alongside me, special guest, independent filmmaker. Would you mind telling me just a bit about yourself here?
Sure. Mike Camoin, class of '88. I was here during some rough years in terms
Right.
of basketball years, but happy to be back, Ryan. And my understanding that is this the last recorded interview
That's what they tell me. That's
in
what they tell me,
in
Mike.
the
But
station? So,
uh,
I just got to tell you, when I was here, I wanted to be a mass comm major,
there you go.
but I couldn't convince the powers to be,
But
mom and dad.
right, exactly.
So I
See,
graduated with an English degree and a
right.
minor in business,
Yeah.
and I found myself behind a video camera
Hmm.
in a strange way as a social worker.
Okay.
Went and
Yeah.
got a master's in social work and studied moonlighted filmmaking on the side.
Would you want to walk me through that? How did that come
Whoa.
up? Yeah, I
Well,
know. I don't mean to
yeah,
take you through
no,
your life story, but
no, no, no. All right. So I'm actually working at my second year interning at a sex abuse prevention program.
Okay.
And I found in the closet an old VHS camera and I dusted off and I said, can I use this? And so I interviewed a perpetrator.
Really
Yeah. A sex abuse perpetrator.
interesting.
Got him to sign off on it, rolled the tape, played it back, and I realized in the playback that he was dodging my questions.
Okay.
I was watching
Yeah.
and studying his behavior,
Right.
which spoke volumes over the words that he was using.
Yeah.
I became enamored with motion images at that point
Interesting
forward.
stuff. That's really interesting. So,
So in 1992, I started Videos for Change Productions
okay.
and Moonlighted launched my career. Got behind, launched a few documentaries, got them out to the public, PBS television in Canada. And then I just said, man, I want to do this full time.
Right. Yeah. And then how did you end up back here at St. Bonaventure?
Like today?
Well, I guess just in general, but also, yeah, today.
Well, let me tell you, the idea for this movie, Brown and White,
Mhm.
The Heart of Bonus Basketball, comes in 2018 on my 30-year reunion.
Okay.
I've already made documentaries. I worked on feature films. At that time, I'd already been to Cannes, to Sundance twice, Toronto, Tribeca, major film festivals,
Wow.
working on other
Yeah. Yeah.
projects. And I've always loved making my own stories. And I just asked myself this question, like, how did we make this comeback?
Right.
So before you were here, the school had fallen into some really hard times.
Mhm.
And in 2018, we had just beaten UCLA in the first playing game for the NCAA. And I just like asked how did we do this? The Catholic Church was still coming out of their own scandal
Right.
around the same
Yeah.
time. So all these questions were like percolating. And I was like, how did we do this? And as I asked around, discovered that nobody else was telling the story. They said, well, if you're going to do it, go deeper into the past, not just the most recent
Yeah. Yeah.
trials. And that's what brings us here this weekend, because one of the people that I met was Sam Stith,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
first African American player to come and play for the Bonnies from 1956 and 1960.
Yeah.
Brings his brother Tom, an All American,
Right.
and then they bring their friend, childhood friend, Fred Crawford from Harlem,
Mhm.
and that transforms the program.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We go from being a decent, and Larry Weese will say this, we were a good team in the 1950s,
Right.
but they go into becoming a national team.
Yeah. Bunch of really great basketball players for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And they will tell you they were coming here to get an education.
Right. Yeah. And then, so is that kind of just how this movie? Tell us a bit about this production that you're putting on right now, the Brown and White documentary.
Brown and White, The Heart of Bonus Basketball, is the story of one of the smallest NCAA Division I basketball teams ever to go and reach number 2 in the nation in 1961, go 23-0 in 1968, make the Final Four, win the National Invitational Tournament in 77,
Right.
take Kentucky to double overtime
Mhm.
in 2001, fall into national scandal, and rebound into national relevance.
Yeah. That's
Our
awesome.
story.
Yeah.
That's our history. Now,
That's this place. Yeah. Exactly.
now, how did we do that? Part of what comes out of this story is really our when you're the smallest, you have to have some secret sauce
Yeah.
to be able to make that happen. And one of the things I believe I've discovered, uncovered, or just find consistently through all these decades is our Franciscan values.
Yeah,
It makes
absolutely.
us unique.
They still push them today. I know them all, right? So they're still going at it, but it's
Oh yeah.
great. One of the few things that makes us very, very unique outside of, our basketball team now, right? Exactly.
Yeah. How do we do it? How do we do it? And it was present back then, and it is to today, and it allows us to, as they say, punch above our weight
Yeah, absolutely.
on a shoestring budget.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe not anymore with Woj here, but we'll
Well,
ignore that for now.
well, Woj is certainly doing an amazing
Yeah.
job, but we're up against
Oh, yeah.
big
Yeah.
time budgets. But I always say this too, like I'm a Mets fan, not a Yankee fan,
I
although my
I will say
family's
I'm a Mets fan as well. I won't
okay.
lie. Yeah.
Well, if you look at teams or franchises like the Yankees and others in different sports, they all try to buy themselves a championship.
Right.
And guess what? It doesn't happen.
No.
There's
Yeah.
something else that happens on winning teams.
Yeah.
And to me, that's in the locker room, that's the chemistry, that's the culture. Look, the Mets are trying to buy
Yeah.
buy
No,
themselves,
yeah.
and it falls apart. And yeah, the teams that really make it, and you look at the 77 team and the 70 team and the 68 team and the 61 team, man,
Yeah.
they were just
They just had
together.
something. Yeah.
Well, they created that something.
Right. Yeah.
And I would have to say that it really comes. I always say that our story is about three things, and it's leadership, teamwork, and building community.
Yeah.
And that's what a movie does.
Yeah.
It builds
Absolutely.
community.
Well, you've said a lot about this movie. Could you just tell me a bit about some other movies you maybe made in the past?
Well, Inside the Blue Line, Ledley's Legacy was my first documentary on
Okay.
an Adirondack woodsman. I followed it up with a second movie with him called How to Make an Adirondack Pack Basket. Small, low budget, independent movies. Um, Another documentary that came shortly after those was called The Battles of Saratoga. So probably educational historical stories that have look, I don't there's different ways to do this. If you understand, we're in a radio station,
Right.
there are independent bands, they learn how to put on a concert,
Hmm.
right? It's the same thing with independent film.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in a movie theater to show your movie. You can. It's called four walling.
Right.
So wherever I can get four walls and show my movie, you can get 10 people, you can get 50 people, you get 300 people to
Yeah.
come out. It's all about what we talked about earlier was marketing.
Right.
You got to know how to market
Yeah.
and sell what you're selling and believe in what you're doing. And sometimes it comes down to a poster.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
grabs people's attention. So it's a visual medium, and learning how to put all those things together, doing a show like this.
Right. Exactly.
There you go. It's just all part of it.
So you talked to me a bit about your background, but maybe did you have anyone that you knew, family, friend that were in the movie business that kind of pushed you toward this a bit?
I I had an uncle who was an artist,
Okay.
and he supported me. And by support, he was just like encouraging
Yeah.
me. Um, I had an uncle, a great uncle, Al Camoin, who was the head cameraman of Saturday Night Live.
Really?
Al Camoin, yeah,
Interesting.
the first 12 years,
That's awesome.
ground floor,
That's really cool.
and he was camera one,
Yeah.
which is he was right in the middle. And um, I met some of the cast from those early years, and they said, your uncle was the greatest. He was just the nicest guy.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do believe Bill Murray was close friends with him, and yeah, I'm guessing that Uncle Al was probably a father figure for those young
Right.
comedians who were going,
Yeah.
there with John Belushi and just going all out. I didn't get to know my Uncle Al because he was always working weekends, so
Right.
he wouldn't attend family gatherings down in Astoria, Queens, where my family's from. Um, so, but I always heard about him.
Right.
And I heard about an artist in the family. His name was Charles Camoin. He was a painter out of Paris. He painted with Matisse and
Really?
the great Lefaux
There you
painters.
go.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we all look into our own history, we will discover something great.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of taking the time to like know your history.
Yeah.
So when I graduated in '88, they had those banners that are hanging there up in the Raleigh Center. I didn't know any of them.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
I mean, you heard of Bob Lanier, of
Right.
course, and I had the honor of meeting Bob in 2019. I was one of the
Really.
last persons to record a personal interview with him on
Really
campus.
interesting.
He said, "I'll give you 90 seconds." So I took 5 minutes,
Right. Yeah.
and thank God I did.
Right. Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, so just like we're doing today, it's like, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know where do you want to go to
I'll come
next?
back to the brown and white. How many interviews have you got so far for this?
Okay, over 75
Wow.
interviews
That's that's
from
unbelievable.
6 decades.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I believe so.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Which one of those interviews, well, I don't want to ruin anything,
Right.
but which one of those interviews really stuck out to you? I know
Wow.
there's a lot. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
putting you
yeah,
on the
yeah.
spot here.
Well, I mean, okay. Here's something funny.
Okay.
I never realized just how competitive basketball players are.
Mhm.
So when I interviewed Sam Stiff, who's on campus now,
Mhm.
that interview went all day.
Wow.
So then I went up to Buffalo and interviewed John Hayes of the undefeated 1968 team.
Yeah.
And he said, "How long was your interview with Sam?" I said, "It was all day, 8 hours." And he goes, "Well, I'm gonna, you're gonna interview me just as long." So, like
They want to
he's
be
competing.
equal.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
exactly.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's so funny. They're competitive on the court, outside the court. They've
Oh
just got
yeah,
that in their
no
blood, you
way,
know?
man.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then with all those
John is
interviews and
terrific.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you're closing in on it now? It's
All right.
almost
So what you know, you get into a project, and it's different than a feature film. A
right.
feature film is based on a script, screenplay. Every page is 1 minute. So a screenplay might be 90 pages. You know what you're shooting. You're going to get it from 5 different angles,
Right.
and then we're going to hand it off to the editor, and they're going to put it together.
Yeah.
Paint by numbers.
Right.
In a documentary, you don't have a script.
Hmm.
You have your questions. You interview somebody, then you interview somebody else, and you interview somebody else. So you write the story in post production.
Yeah.
So then you have some surprise moments of how does this connect to this, to
Right.
that. That takes time. And I'm working with a very skillful editor. His name is Christopher Seward. He did a movie called Fahrenheit 9/11 with
Hmm.
Michael
Yeah,
Moore,
yeah.
Sicko with Michael Moore. This is his 46th documentary.
Wow.
And as we put together the story, it becomes clear to us that we can't rush it because there's just so much rich history in the
Right.
beginning. So now we're into episode 1, 70 minutes. It's called the fine cut. Episode 2 is a rough cut.
Yeah.
And then we already have plans for episode 3 and 4 that take us into 1970, 1977,
Right.
Jimmy Barron's years,
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then we fall down the rabbit hole to a scandal, and we figure out what truly is us. What are our Franciscan
Right.
values that bring us back?
Yeah.
And it's such a great story.
You talked about those special moments. What was the most interesting thing that you found so far?
Well, I would say the one thing that resonates with me, Ryan, is um, a guy named Ken Murray the third tracked me down at the Fordham game in the Bronx last winter.
Hmm.
And Ken said, my dad was the 1,000 point scorer, the first 1,000 point scorer. In fact, number 13, Ken Murray's banner is
Okay.
hanging. And he brought over 200 articles, photographs, an album, and out comes this index card. And it's typed up, and it's a prayer. Um, and because his father graduated in 1951, we've asked around and talked to the Rooney family and said, yeah, it's probably Father Silas Rooney,
Hmm.
who was the first athletic director of Friar in those, what we say, early years of Bonnet
Right.
basketball. also Bonna football.
Yeah.
And the prayer goes something like this: pray for us to play well enough to honor the past,
Hmm.
well enough to be in the present, and well enough to influence future players to come, like-minded individuals of character who would live up to the lofty ideals of Saint Bonaventure.
Wow.
Past, present,
Yeah.
future, all in one prayer.
That's
60 seconds. We call it the Father Silas prayer. And spoiler alert, that's what's going to be introduced for the first time tomorrow
really
to open up the 10:30 uh, program
right.
to
Yeah.
honor All-American Tom Stith.
Yeah. Do you want to talk more about that? What's
Sure.
going on tomorrow?
Yeah, 10:30 at the Quick Arts Center, open to the public. We're going to be honoring All-American Tom Stith. We'll show 2 scenes from our documentary. Sam Stith will be on stage along with Whitey Martin, who is
Right.
his teammate. He was considered the third Stith brother, which is just great. Just a great relationship that they've had all these years. And Tom McElroy is going to be host, and he's going to take us through some history. Be discussion. We'll show some clips. We'll show some highlight reels.
Yeah.
And we've got a few surprises too.
That's pretty great. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You want to talk a bit about Tom Stith maybe, or any of the guys?
Well, what I know about Tom Stith by watching the archival films and the way someone like Anthony Bannon,
Mhm.
who was one of our 75 interviews, talked about him, saw him play on court, they were just smooth. You had Freddie Crawford as a sophomore, Whitey Martin and Tom Stith that were seniors, and those 3 guys, plus Ori Girelli and Bob McCulley, they were just amazing.
Right.
I gotta say that Freddie Crawford was the first Magic Johnson.
I like
And
that.
yeah,
I like that.
if you watch, if anybody comes tomorrow, you're gonna see a play like, because both Freddie and Sam and Tom they're out of Harlem, man, and their
Right.
style of play was different. It was a freestyle, and Larry Weese even says that he learned by going down to Rucker Park their style of play, which changed the NBA.
Yeah.
And actually, they credit Rucker Park for introducing the 24-second clock in the NBA
Yeah.
because they sped up the ball, and it's like, well, you could score.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to just dribble off
Yeah,
and let's
yeah.
all set up and all that. Let's
funny.
let the defense get it
Right.
right.
Exactly. Let's do
Okay,
this
you
one
guys
on one.
ready?
Yeah.
It's like the American Revolution,
Exactly.
where the British line up and let's get in
Precisely.
lines. Okay,
Exactly.
ready, fire. Yeah,
And the Americans didn't want to do that. They were
No.
on their own. Yeah.
No, and the Native Americans got involved,
Right.
and they taught the Americans how to fight differently and
Yeah.
come around from the back and surprise people.
Right.
Yeah. So their style of play, and there's a couple surprises. If those who attend will be able to participate in tomorrow, but people who speak on behalf of Tom as a player, he was considered the greatest
Yeah.
that year. Like he was in top 5 All-American.
Yeah.
So, and here he was on this campus. What I didn't know, the building that we're in, the Riley Center.
Yeah.
That was one of the questions I asked myself. It's like, how did we build, or why did the Franciscans build the biggest building on campus and dedicated to sports?
Right.
I mean, from a Franciscan standpoint,
Yeah.
about poverty and all this other stuff, this building cost $3 million at the time, which was $30 million today. That was a bold move. So the Friars went out, I've learned, on Sundays to raise money for this building.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You would have thought maybe raising money for a friary or a church or anything like that, but no, they put it into athletics.
Yes.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It is crazy. And they were an all friar board.
Yeah.
We're not talking like, hey, there's some rich lawyer who could write a check or somebody. This was an all friar board that was all in on basketball.
Yeah.
We had dropped big time football and went to big time basketball. And it was because of our success at the Armory.
Yeah.
downtown. And we moved that group of people, which were supposed to seat 2,000 fans.
Yeah.
There was like 5,000 there.
Wow.
We've got archival film that I
Right.
found in the clips that we're going to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great history, and I'm so glad that I've gotten to know it and be able to begin to getting closer to be able to share it with everyone.
Yeah. I mean, last thing, anything else you want to say to maybe alumni, students, just fans of the Bonnie's basketball game? Anything to really rope them in, watch the documentary, come to the event tomorrow?
Well, how about we put a plug for the website?
Okay. Yeah.
brownandwhitestory.com. And I if people can chip in, this is how, crowdfunding is the way that independent movies
Yeah.
are made. They don't, studios are not going to fund a movie like this. They don't fund a lot of independent movies because they just don't know the story. But I think once what happens is independents set the trend,
Right.
and then studios follow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this has been great, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Stay tuned for anything you're working on in the future and the event tomorrow and everything going on with the Brown and White documentary. And of course, stay tuned for the Bonnies basketball this year because I think the team's looking really great this year. I don't know if you've paid
From what I
attention
listen
much,
on the
but
radio and watch on TV, they look really good.
yeah, I'm
I'm
excited.
excited.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to be a good year. But
this is great.
thank you all for watching. Thank you, Mike, again for being here and go watch the Brown and White documentary.
Hey, Ryan, I just want to give a shout out. Congrats
Yeah.
to everybody that's ever been in this
Oh, yeah.
office.
Thank you.
75 years plus to the SBU radio.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be perhaps the last interview
Yeah.
in this location.
Yeah. Been here for 76 years, I would think, something like that, 75, 77 years. And we have to move locations, of course, with the new Murphy building being constructed and
All right.
all of the work that's going on over there. But yeah, we have to leave this site. So, like you said, probably the last interview in this room, maybe the last recording in this room, if you ask me. But stay tuned for that. Tune in and
a little bit good to be a part of the history here.
right, absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks again.
Go Bonnies.
Go Bonnies.